Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna Wise, and you are here because you want to start and get booked as a fashion stylist. And today I am going to talk about how I became a fashion stylist. It was a long journey, but I'm going to give you all the tea. So I was a basketball player from the time I was 8 all the way up into college, and I knew absolutely nothing about styling. I just had, parents that loved clothes. My mom would dress me up to put on outfits to look just like her. Like, we would always be matching. And so I really had no idea when it came to styling. I just knew I liked fashion because my parents liked fashion. I never realized that, knowing absolutely nothing, years later, I would be working with, brands like Sony, Warner Brothers, BET, professional athletes, actresses, musicians. So I just say this to say that just because you may not know something right now does not mean that you cannot achieve your goal. I really do hope that this inspires you just to keep going, because you're so much closer than you actually think. So like I said, I was a basketball player, and I went to a school. It was a private school where we had to wear uniforms. And so no, you can't really show your style in a uniform, but on game days we were able to dress down, and that was when I was able to just wear what the heck I wanted. I remember my mom would take me to the mall. We would shut the malls down to the point where we had to sneak out in Nordstrom's because that was the only store open. I even remember going to New York sometimes and shopping just for game day, like looking for outfits. And I'm in Maryland at the time, and that's like a 3-hour train ride or bus ride, but we used to love going up to New York on the weekends and just shopping. Of course, on game day I would have my outfit on, and my friends would always ask me like, can you style me, or where'd you get that? And I kind of got a nickname like Styled by Brie, which actually stuck with me forever. Like, people still say Styled by Brie. So fast forward, I'm in college and it's my freshman year. I'm on the basketball team, and I just had this gut feeling like I want to pursue fashion. I'm not sure that I really want to continue playing basketball because it turned into feeling like a job, and it wasn't fun the way it was when I was younger. So I knew I wanted to switch gears just because I saw different things online. I started reading magazines. I was just like really into, clothes and putting them together and how it felt, on game day, just being able to dress the way I wanted to. So I wanted to shift gears, but I was so afraid because I felt like if I stopped playing basketball, I would let my family down. Like, everybody in my family played basketball, and I was the only girl. But I played, and I just felt like I was the chosen one, in order to play basketball with my family. And it was hard, making that decision. I just want you to know that you're not alone if you feel that way. I know that we've all probably been in a situation where we felt like if we did something that we really wanted to do, that we may, disappoint someone else or disappoint our parents. And I just want you to know that it's okay to have a dream and go after it, because it'll all work out. So I ended up telling my parents, I was like, look, I'm in college. I found out that there's this fashion club, and I can't really do anything outside of waking up in the morning, going swimming for practice, like training at 6 a.m., going to team workouts, doing individual sessions, having team meetings. It was like no other life outside of that, which would allow me to even try to pursue anything else, which was fashion that I wanted to pursue. To my surprise, I honestly feel like they might have been a little disappointed, but they did support me, and they were like, you know what? Do what you want to do what you love. And I was so blessed and grateful that they were supportive of me when I changed my mind, and something that I was doing since the time I was 8 years old. So here I am in the fashion program, and they have these internships, and I was like, okay, I want to start seeing what's out there. So I submitted, and I was able to do a 1-day internship. It was a trunk show for this fashion designer that was based out of New York. It was so cool because I felt like I was finally in the vicinity, in the space with all of, the fashion. Mind you, I was going back and forth to New York shopping with my mom. I was reading magazines, I was doing all these things, and it just felt like, wow, you know, it's right here. I'm interning for a designer, and although I'm just pulling out clothes and putting them on a rack, it was just being able to do that outside of my regular norm of playing basketball was so cool. So after, you know, that day's internship, I straight up walked up to the designer and said, I would love to intern with you. Is there anything available? Like, I would love to know if you have anything or any type of opportunities. He said, yeah. And he said that he had a summer internship that would be available and gave me his card. He told me to call him a month before the summer and he would have something for me. That summer, I moved to New York and interned as a fashion PR intern. Now, this is around June 2006. And this is actually the same time that The Devil Wears Prada came out. And it's wild because I literally felt just like that movie. You know, that was the first time that you actually got to see what it was like to work in the fashion industry from that movie. And literally to be placed into that was such an experience. Like, I was running, you know, through the streets with garment bags and steaming gowns for the Met and doing all these different things, reaching out to different PR reps. It was definitely an experience that I will never forget. One day I was running through the streets with this garment bag that I had to drop off at a hotel. And I remember walking into the hotel and it was just so glamorous. It was like something you'd never seen before and you didn't even know it was a hotel. And I go upstairs on the elevator to this door to drop off this garment bag, and to my surprise, Brad from the Rachel Zoe project, the Zoe report, opens the door, and there's all of these clothes in this hotel room. It was shoes all over the ground. It was, you know, racks and racks and racks of clothes, and I just looked like, oh my gosh. And that was the first time that I saw, like, this is what a stylist is. I think that was the changing moment for me when I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to do this. I want to know how to get access to clothes that, you know, aren't even in stores yet. I want to know how to just put outfits together for people and get paid. Like, that was the first time I think I really felt like I have to figure this out. So mind you, this was, you know, my summer internship going into my sophomore year of college. When I went back, I was heavily into trying to figure out styling. I, you know, took merchandising classes, which didn't teach me styling, but it definitely taught me textiles and, you know, how to design clothes. And I remember making my own blouse and my own skirt. And I also continued to model. I became a model coordinator where I taught models how to walk with confidence, you know, down the runway. And it also allowed me to see the entire back end of a production and what it takes from, you know, the clothes and prepping a show and putting the outfits on the models and the flow of the shows. So modeling definitely helped me really understand the production side of things, but I was really trying to figure out how to be a stylist because, you know, my classes really didn't teach me that. And even though the classes didn't teach me that, I still tried to find ways that I could, you know, style my friends or, you know, style different people who would ask me, you know, where did I get certain items from or where did I get like a blouse from. I still tried to find a way to stay creative and start styling. After college, I felt like I knew what I wanted to do in the back of my mind, but still didn't know how to do it, you know, all those years. Even in school, taking those classes, it didn't really teach me that. My major was business, you know, my minor was fashion merchandising and marketing, and it did not teach me what I, you know, eventually realized I needed to know. But after college, I ended up taking all the money that I got from graduating, you know, gifts, and taking the bus or train up to New York 2 to 3 times a week just to intern and assist. Now, keep in mind when you're interning and assisting, well, really interning, you're not making, you know, any money. You're just really gathering the information, you're learning the ropes, and that's what I did, and ended up spending all my graduation money, because I wasn't working, on going back and forth. Now, there was one stylist in particular that I really feel like I learned from, because she showed me that there are so many different types of styling jobs out there. Like, she was, you know, decorating people's homes. She was styling for different lookbooks for designers. And it showed me that, you know, that you don't necessarily have to just style celebrities or style as a personal stylist. You can really open yourself up to different types of jobs, and that's what makes, you know, so many more opportunities. I mean, so, you know, even going back and forth, I just felt like I can do this. I know I can do it. I would watch commercials laying down and be like, I mean, that shirt is freaking from Marshall's. Like, I can do that. And it just really got to me. And I'm the type of person where if I feel like, you know, I can figure something out, I'm gonna figure it out. And I feel like that was just my journey this entire time. So here I am, broke, with no money, and, you know, from going back and forth to New York trying to intern. And my mom comes to me and she's like, I have a friend that lives in LA. If you want to go out there and like try to see what you can do, go ahead. So she set it up. I moved to LA. And I did. I got an internship with a celebrity stylist, and it was so bad, guys. It was so bad and so unorganized. It kind of like left me kind of traumatized, because I was not expecting for it to be as unorganized as it was. I was styling this celebrity fashion show, and I remember literally chasing a UPS truck down the street to get this box that was needed. I remember, you know, the organization of the clothes coming in wasn't right. I remember one of the bad girls from Bad Girls Club stole a pair of shoes. It was just like an experience that I did not expect. So I'm sure you probably guessed it, you know, interning with that stylist did not work out. You know, I tried to do other jobs out there when I first went, but it just didn't pan out the way I thought it would. And I ended up moving back home so that I could stack up my money and move back to LA. So here I am, defeated twice, guys, like feeling like, what the heck am I doing? And I just knew it had to be something that I could figure out to get this done. You know, at this point I had interned, I had assisted, and I was not learning what I felt like I needed to learn in order to start my own styling business. This time when I went back, I was like, I got a job, it was in health insurance, and I still started styling. You know, I was styling my friends, and, you know, I started creating different relationships with other creatives in the industry, and people would start booking me and hiring me to do different jobs, not only, you know, in Maryland, but also in New York. I mean, I styled a couple different New York Fashion Week shows, so it wasn't like I wasn't styling. It just wasn't to the level that I really wanted it to be at. I also launched a clothing line with my mom and my aunt, and it was a boutique for women, and we went to Magic Week in Las Vegas where we pulled clothes and put them on our website. I started learning how to build websites, creating content. I was a model for our clothes. So I was very hands-on and just trying to learn and trying to build, and somewhat of a serial entrepreneur. Then I actually got reached out to from one of my friends. Like I said, I played basketball for years, and he ended up getting drafted into the NBA, 2 of them. And they reached out to me to start styling them, because when we were in high school, they would always ask me, like, can you style me? Can you style me? And so once they got drafted, of course, I definitely was like, yes, I can style you. I'm going to figure this out, you know. So I created like my own mood board, and I negotiated with them on my rates. Like, I was like, I'm going to figure this out. Remember, I went to school for business. I think, you know, after feeling defeated from those first 2 times, it really made me hone into like just believing that I could actually do this and set a plan for myself. I didn't realize that every one of those experiences really helped me get to where I am today. Even when I was getting those New York Fashion Week jobs, and I would literally call out from work sick because I had to do that. It was just like a no-brainer. So yeah, I'm getting these jobs and I'm getting booked and I'm working my full time. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm saving up enough money. I'm gonna move back to LA. So that was 5 years of stacking my bread. I even remember for the last maybe 3 or 4 months before I moved, I was a hostess at a restaurant and I was like, I have to move back. So I moved back to LA with no job and I go full force. Like, I'm like, I am going to figure this out. I learned from my last 2 experiences and I'm going to get booked. I'm going to set myself up. I'm going to get these jobs and it's going to work out. The thing is, when I went back out there, I don't know, I kind of like self-sabotaged myself because I felt like even though I had big jobs under my belt, I still needed to intern and assist. And it did not work out well at all. I remember interning in this, or I remember assisting a stylist that just would not reimburse me or would not even pay me. And it really made me feel like, what am I doing? Am I doing this all over again? So it was kind of like a red light that went off and I said, you know what? I need to just believe in my own ability. I've already done some amazing jobs. Why do I still feel like I have to do that? And I mean, everything changed from then. I was like, okay, you know what? When I was home, I had a full-time job and I was still styling. Let me at least get my footing while I'm here. And I got a job working at a production company, which allowed me to really see the back end of production in a different realm. They built sets and the stages for big music festivals that you see, or different concerts. And I was able to work my job and style. It allowed me to stack my bread and it allowed me to work in the industry, work in both realms. I remember pitching them on different ideas on how to bring in more clients as far as like within the fashion industry, lighting for runway shows or commercials. I'm sure you may have seen some commercials where they're long extended videos for fashion brands. I tried to pitch those things and I thought they were interested in it, but obviously they weren't because they ended up laying me off. I guess I was just a little too excited about fashion and not, as excited when it came to that job. But anyway, it ended up being all good because while I was there, I ended up creating my own portfolio based around my perfect client. And that really opened my entire portfolio and book up. I realized that I really loved working with people in the sports industry. I came from the sports industry being a basketball player. I had clients that were athletes and I just really liked, working with them. I set up a few photo shoots with some of my clients that were athletes and put this together in order to start shopping it around. I went on Google, I found different sites that listed agents, managers, athletes, email addresses, and I started just pushing it out there. Mind you, this was in the last 2 weeks of me being laid off. I started pushing my portfolio out there and ended up booking one of the biggest jobs of my career, which was a job with Under Armour. This was like a really full circle moment for me because the job was back in Baltimore, where I'm from, playing in basketball gyms that I used to play in, styling athletes that I knew growing up, and being able to show my parents that this is a real job, like styling people is real. And it was also so cool because I come from a big basketball family, and to be able to work in the fashion industry and in sports, basketball was just something so cool to be able to show my parents. So I'm doing this job, the energy was great, I built great relationships with the production team, and it was for a full-on TV series called Home Court. Because it went so well, they ended up booking me for multiple jobs back to back in LA, and it was just eye-opening that I could put my own portfolio together, but it had to do with knowing exactly who my perfect customer was and then the doors opened up for me. You know, those Under Armour jobs led me to working different commercials, working with other athletes, you know, and I know that it had to do with me knowing who my perfect client was, because I also started doing the same thing for other brands and other creatives. I remember I had a football player and I helped build his website, do his styling, do his overall branding. And by doing that, it attracted him to his clients, and I've used this cycle over and over and over again. So even though I give tips on fashion styling and personal styling, the information that I'm providing is for anything, like any type of business you have. Setting the brand foundation, which is knowing who your customer is the number one thing that you want to focus on, especially when you're creating your portfolio. The lesson that I completely learned, you know, from all the ups and downs of, you know, interning and assisting or working for free at times when I knew I should be getting paid, and you know, the having to move home, having a full-time job, I just feel like it really, really grounded me, and it really allowed me to understand that all the skills that I learned in every job that I had, every styling gig that I had, it helped me become the person that I am, one, and two, it honed in on the skills that I needed in order to be the stylist and be the brand consultant that I am today. A few helpful tips that helped me when, you know, I was going through the ups and downs of starting my career was I definitely tapped into a lot of self-development books, like The Secret, and, you know, being around a lot of people who I felt saw in me what was hard for me to see in myself when I was going through it. So, you know, on those days when I was just like, what is going on? Why can't I figure this out? Having people around me, other creatives, other, you know, people who understand my journey was so helpful. It just made me feel better. It just made me feel like everything was going to be okay. And I know that having like-minded people around you is a great way to keep your, you know, yourself positive. Creating my own tribe, and when I say my own tribe is other, you know, creatives like photographers, makeup artists, videographers. You know, I have a lot of friends that are dancers. Having a lot of creatives in my own tribe around me really helped me, one, create my portfolio, but two, it also opened up doors for me when other jobs would, you know, come available that they found out that they would refer me. That's why I think it's so important not only to, you know, have relationships with other stylists, but also other creatives, because we all are in the same realm and we're all in the same industry. So when one job comes available, you'll know someone who does that. The lesson that I learned, you know, through all the ups and downs of my journey to becoming a stylist is, you know, don't give up on your dream. You're so much closer than you actually think you are. And, you know, what you think is happening to you is really happening for you. It's allowing you to really tap into what you need to learn in order to get to the next level of what it is that you want to do, which is, I'm sure, being a stylist. Definitely self-development books, films, whatever that may be. You definitely want to, you know, work on yourself. Styling, or even just being a creative, it's so important to really understand yourself, because you'll know the type of clients that you want to work with. And, you know, on those days when you're not feeling it, those self-development books or movies or anything like that will help you stay positive on your journey. You know, I think a lot of times, because we have social media and we think things happen overnight, that's how life is, and it's not. And that's why, you know, I created this video, because yes, I've been styling for 13 years. I have huge, you know, clients and brands that I've worked with, but it was not like that in the beginning. And I just want you to know that even on those days when I was down, I still kept going, and it really paid off. Another tip I would say is know the difference in having a mentor and interning and assisting. Now, the difference was when I was interning and assisting, I really did not feel that I was learning. I really did not feel that I was able to reach out and ask, the appropriate questions in order to help me develop my own business as a stylist. And that changed once I got a mentor. And that mentor was a stylist, a costume designer. However, the relationship was totally different. And I was able to reach out to her for advice. She also referred me to other jobs. It was more of, a deeper, genuine relationship than interning and assisting, because when I was interning and assisting, I was running all over the place. I wasn't able to actually just sit down and have those deeper conversations, not just about styling, but just life in itself. So having a mentor is completely different than interning and assisting. Another helpful tip is know that no matter where you are right now, whether you're at a 9-to-5, whether you're interning and assisting, whether you have a boutique and you're a designer or you have a brand, everything you're doing right now is preparing you for exactly what you are meant to do, and it will definitely develop the skills that you need as a stylist when you don't even realize it. Like, it's not just about pulling clothes, it's not just about organizing closets. It's many other things that are involved when it comes to becoming a stylist. And the number one thing is having the mindset and knowing, that no matter what, you will achieve your goal as long as you stay committed and consistent in achieving that goal. All of my experiences brought me to the place that I am, which has allowed me to write a book called Becoming a Stylist, all the secrets that they don't want you to know, and create a boot camp for aspiring fashion stylists and personal stylists who really just want to learn how to start and get booked. And that includes building your brand. That includes how to market your services, create your packages, create your rates, and just a community of other like-minded people, because like I said, it's so important to have that around you, because a lot of times when you're not around that, you can really get down. So having like-minded people around you is so important and key. I hope that this video was helpful. I hope that it inspires you to just keep going. And if you would like to be a part of Becoming a Stylist Bootcamp, make sure that you click the link below. I'll leave it there for you.